Hey guys, it's Ivy and welcome back to another day. I'm going to take you through one of my daily training routines with Splash. Let's get into it. So here we have Splash, like usual, coming to say hi. Whenever I'm taking out my horse's training, I always make sure to give them a good pat before we start. So we're just going to put on Splash's bridle and take him out. Okay, so now that Splash's told her on, we'll take him over to the wash stalls. So in the wash stalls we just do the general grooming. So once he's all groomed, it's time to tack up, starting with his leg wraps. Moving on to the saddle pad. And just making sure it's nice and tight on both sides. Now to put his bridle on. Okay, so now that we're all tacked up, we're going to head outside and do some jumps. If you did not know already, I board at Silverglade Equestrian Centre. It really fulfills all my needs with cross-country, dressage and show jumping, but I will be moving to a bigger facility by the end of the year. So I like to mount up here and ride down to the riding hall, as it is a part of my daily warm-up. It just means I don't have to spend longer warming my horses up. So today we decided to pull the drone out and fire it up and see if we can get some cool shots using our drone. My way down to the riding house is usually mainly filled with long trotting, as it warms up the horse's muscles better. Trotting also helps disengage muscles. We also do a small amount of collected canters on our way down to the riding hall. The riding hall is usually pretty busy and there are people everywhere. This can be super stressful for some horses, so I like to let my horses just stand around and get used to the atmosphere. So I took my jumper off because it's getting a little hot down here, and we're just going to walk Splash around the outside of the arena a bit and just get him used to all the noises that are happening. Okay, we've just gone up and down the arena a few times, and now we're going to enter. The show jumping side of the arena seems pretty cramped today, so we will warm up in the dressage side. As I said before, just a little long trotting and a few collected canters to warm up. And if your horse is a little sleepy, like Splash usually is, just doing some nice transitions to wake him up a bit. Okay, so that's our warming up done for today, and we're going to move on to the jumps. So today I just want to work on some jump transitions with Splash, as he has a few competitions coming up in eventing. Splash has already signed up for the Winterfell Open, and I may enter him in Oktoberfest if he thinks I'm ready. So again, when we enter the jump arena, just standing around for a minute or two, letting Splash get used to the atmosphere and what's going on around him. So we're going to start off with some smaller jumps, just to get him warmed up for jumping more, and then we're going to slowly move up and start doing some different combinations. So starting with this jump, we're just going to do a nice collective canter over it. And then just come back around and jump it again, keeping at a collected canter. We're going to do that one more time before moving on to a large jump. So moving on to a bit of a larger jump, we're going to jump this jump at a collected canter and then move on to an extended canter over this jump ahead of us. So we're just going to do that once more and then we'll move on. So moving on, we're just going to do 3 jumps in a row. Some of them are large and some of them are smaller. So we're just going to start with a collected canter over this jump. We're just going to keep that collected canter over the next. We're now going to move on to an extended canter over this smaller jump. And pull them back down to a walk and then a halt. So there are a few types of jumps that Splash has a lot of trouble with. This one is one of them. This one just ahead of us here. It looks a lot larger than it is far away, and I think that's why it spooks Splash a bit. We're going to give it a go at a collected canter. We're going to do it one more time, but at an extended canter. There we have Splash just spooking at the jump at an extended canter, but we're just going to bring him around and get him to do it one more time. So we're now going to try this double and then curve around to that jump Splash was just having trouble with. Doing the triple at a collected canter. Then we're going to move up to an extended canter. So now we're just going to do a short course of some of these jumps, and we'll see how Splash does. So after that course, we're just going to let Splash sit for a bit and catch his breath and any energy he might need to replace. And then we're going to head up and untack and put him in the pasture for a bit. So for our cool down, I just like to do a lot of walking, get those muscles nice and stretched, and just let the wind hit his face, helping me wash off some of that sweat. As you can see that Splash just tried going to a trot and we just bring him straight back down into the walk again. So I just finished untucking Splash and we're gonna walk him down to the pasture. So arriving into this pasture usually has a lot more horses out, but there was a show on today and everyone kind of took their horses. This pasture is generally filled with the geldings and some of the mares.